Hello, my name is Kim Clear, Millcreek Township Supervisor. I am honored to be your host for this edition of Millcreek Township's Government Channel. Today's guest is special to me, not just because he works in the field of education, but because this individual provides opportunity and growth to anyone seeking to better their circumstances. Millcreek Government Channel is proud to welcome Erie County Community College President, Dr. Christopher Gray. Welcome, Dr. Gray.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Well, the fact that we have a community college here in Erie, Pennsylvania is one of the most exciting things to happen. It is the newest community college in the nation. What brought you to Erie, Pennsylvania? How are we so lucky to get you?
So it's a fascinating story, actually. I remember the fight from 10 years ago, and I was actually at an overnight conference, and we were sitting around after the function and dealing with other administrators from other community colleges, and we read the story where the last venture got shot down, and I don't remember at that point if it was a state or where it got shut down at. And we all started dreaming about how cool would it be to be in a brand new community college where education has changed so much, where you could build it, take all the barriers out, make it truly accessible, make it, take all the pomp and circumstance that goes along with all the higher education and really help people get into the workforce. That's where it started. That dream came, and since then I kind of kept an eye. And then, I saw that it got approved, and I thought, well, I wonder what will happen. And then I saw a post, and I thought, well, they probably don't want me, but it's just a piece of paper, and I submitted it, and the conversations began. And a year later, I'm an Erie Countyite now, and I'm happy to be here.
Well, we are so lucky to have you here. Your passion for community colleges goes way back. You are a community college graduate, aren't you?
Yeah, so the story I tell about myself, and it's mostly true as my mother would tell you. So I'm a farm kid from Central Illinois. I grew up in a small town, but it was a farming culture, so I learned the values of hard work. I learned respect, all those traditional kind of values, the same values we see right here in Erie County. And then I had a girlfriend in high school who was going to college. And so she said, you should go to college too. And I went, well, okay. And so I followed her to college. And the best part of the story is 2 weeks into the semester, she dumped me. But my world changed. I went to a community college, and all of a sudden my world, where I didn't really travel even much geographically outside of my small town, or certainly not amongst, my friend group was very small because it was a town of 15,000. All of a sudden my world got much bigger. I was introduced to new ideas, new people, new ways of thinking, new religions, people from cities, people from other countries, and it was just exciting to me. And it kind of became like my call. I thought, oh my gosh, this is it. And so as I went through the process and did really well in college, and somebody said, well, you should go on and get a master's degree. And I said, well, great, what's a master's degree? And so I went on and got a master's degree, and I knew at that point that I wanted to give back. So I knew I wanted to work in the community college system and help open those doors for other students. I wouldn't be the person I am, I wouldn't have the career I have, certainly, and I wouldn't be the scholar that I am if it weren't for, and I can name those teachers dating all the way back. Even my elementary teachers, they forgave me a little bit more. When I got in the fist fight, they saw something in me, and so they taught me other tools, or they would encourage me or say, fight through this, don't give up, all the way back. And then certainly by the time I got to college, my best friends and my mentors are still my college professors, and some of them have passed on, but those are the folks that I look back to, and I think I just want to do a little bit of what they did for me. If I can make that accessible for other students, that's all I hope for. So.
Yeah. Oh, as a teacher for almost 20 years, I can totally understand where you're coming from, because there is nothing like being able to inspire greatness in someone. I mean, I think that's a calling. Yeah. And I know you have that, and that's what I see this community college being. When I was pushing for the community college for Erie County, I really understood that my own students that I had, 11th and 12th graders at the time, they didn't know where to go next. They didn't know. They thought there was nothing left for them. They didn't love school, but they knew they needed training in something. And so I guess that kind of leads me into some of my questions I have for you today. So are you ready?
You bet, let's go.
How did everything go with this first year of the community college? And did it meet your expectations? What are your thoughts on it?
So let me tell you a funny story. So I was interviewing a little over a year ago, and they used a search firm. So my main point of contact at that point was someone from the search firm. And in one of the interviews, I did 5 or 6 interviews with the Board of Trustees and some various other stakeholders. In one of them, and this would have been May, let's say it was May, they said, well, we're going to have classes that are going to start in September. And I remember thinking, no, you're not.
Yeah, right.
I'm not going to tell them that. So I talked to the consultant with the search firm and said, hey, you probably need to talk to that board and set some realistic expectations that there's no way in heck you can get a college up and running by that point. And he said, oh yeah, that must just be a mistake. I'll have a conversation. So he calls me back. He says, Chris, we need to talk. They're really going to do it. Because there was such political opposition down in Harrisburg still, rightly so, our board made the good decision to say, move it forward. So if they started more of the political games, students would have been in place. So it was the right decision. And so really the only reason the college got up and going is because they hired Judy Gay. Dr. Gay out of the Philadelphia Community College system came in with a wealth of experience, knew the Commonwealth rules and regulations, was able to really make things happen in her role as the interim president. But yeah, it's kind of crazy that they started that soon. But the year has been amazing. It's exceeded expectations. We started with 3 programs. And locations of, we're on the Lower East Side over down at St. Ben's. We were offering our science classes at through the Regional Science Consortium at the Tom Ridge Center. And then we were offering classes in Corey and down at the Skills Center on the Voc Tech High School campus.
Wow.
We've served over 300 students
Oh my goodness.
already. We actually have 150 students currently enrolled, which typically your enrollment in the summer is 1/10 of what a fall would be. And then more importantly to that, we've helped change trajectories of lives. You talked about your experience teaching. We're starting off, another semester starts here in next month. And so I always address the faculty. And one thing I've started to say in part of my career, never forget that you're changing students' trajectories with every interaction. I'm getting long in the tooth here. And so the longer I've taught, I'll be anywhere in the nation. I could be somewhere and someone will come up and go, oh my God, Chris,
Yes.
I can't remember what you said, but you said this, and because of that, I've done this, this, and this. And I'm like, that's so awesome. I'm so happy to hear from my former students. And then that student will leave or move on, and somebody will be like, who was that? And I'll be like, I don't remember them. I mean, they weren't one of my students that I was close with.
But they remember you.
They do.
And the impact you have.
And so that changed my mind. I thought, use kindness, use empathy, use understanding. Our system of higher ed is not built on that. Our system of higher ed is built on the answer is no. You're not good enough, you need to work harder, you need to be smarter, you need to read more.
Yes.
Which is great for the select few, and that's how our system was built. For the vast majority of us who suffer from imposter syndrome, right? We believe we're not smart enough, or we're not good enough, or we got here by accident. It's that extra encouragement, that support, that belief. It's that forgiveness to add tools to the toolbox. So when someone makes a bad choice in their intellectual journey, instead of putting up an academic barrier to them, we say, hey, let's go back. Why did you make this choice?
Yes.
Right? Why did you choose to cite this body of evidence? That when you know that that body of evidence is not scientifically backed, it's not peer research, why would you make that choice? Well, we find out a lot of times, well, you know what, I was in a hurry. I was trying to get my kids to school, and I knew if I didn't get this in, it was 20% of my grade, I was going to suffer, so I made some bad choices. The old motto would say, well, you're not good enough for college, move on.
Yeah, you're right, you're right.
What we do is we say, well, hey, that's not good enough for your integrity. How do we help you?
Yes.
Can I get you down with a tutor? And let's also get you with a counselor. Let's talk about those life circumstances. If you're caring for your parents and raising your children and working 3 part-time jobs, and it takes 3 bus transfers to get to campus,
Yeah.
the system was built for someone to jump in a car in August, go a state or 2 away,
Yes.
and live there, and have full support, not have to worry financially because their parents would care for them. Well, that's not true for our students. Our average age of an EC3 student is 37 years old.
Wow. That's
Right?
amazing.
The stories, I love to tell the stories of our students, right? We've got a great young lady who is raising 3 children. She walks them to the bus stop every morning. No transfer, so it's a bus, so it's only 15-20 minutes from her door to one of our campuses. She then, oh no, I'm sorry, that's to her kids' school. She was dropping them off at school. Then she walked 1.25 miles to get to our campus because the bus line, it would have taken about an hour on the bus where it was just quicker to walk.
Yeah.
She does that, she takes her classes, she has an hour after her last class ends where she runs into our library and works with our tutors and tries to get all of her studying and research done, because then she has to repeat that, go home, get the kids back home, then the 12-year-old watches the 2 younger kids while she goes and earns money at night. That's the reality. If you want to say, how do we change America? It's folks like that who are trying to better themselves, that we've got to build a system that supports.
Yes.
And so that's what really makes us different. We have a very rich higher ed landscape right here in Erie County. We have a lot of great institutions.
Yes.
but we're a niche. We serve a different type of student. And so that's really what I'm most proud of, the work that our faculty and our staff have done. And those stories run rampant throughout. We've got story after story. I encourage, if you're out there, talk to some of our students. Ask them their story. What motivated you? You know, I talked to one student who her mom told her she wasn't pretty enough, so she better get some skills. And so she just devastates her, you know, her ability to believe in herself. And so she didn't think she was a good student. And she happened to be with a therapist who said, well, you got to reframe that for yourself. And, you know, you've got this community college is new. Have you thought about going back? And she tells a story way better than I do, but she said she only did it because her therapist told her she had to call the community college. She didn't have to take classes, but she had to make the call. And she happened to talk to Elise, one of our admissions counselors. And Elise listened to her story and went, wow, this is an opportunity for you. And she says because Elise took the time to empathize and listen, she decided to give it a try. She's now moving up into management in her company. She's now wants to start thinking about a 4-year degree. These are things that didn't happen. It's all because that one therapist listened to her story and said, hold on. The image that people put out there is not the real them, right? People are struggling, people are challenged. Everyone experiences that. And so I'm really passionate about that part. And that's really what a community college does. It gets people to work. That's what it does. People go to college because they want to better themselves. Let's stop pretending they're coming to college to learn the classic languages. Let's stop. They're not. I don't want to do it. I took those courses because I had to. My passion was I was a speech and theater person, so my passion was getting on the stage, building the sets. It wasn't some of the philosophy courses that I had to take, but I understood I needed them. But let's help people find their passion.
And with my own students, I would find that as well. You know, they would say things to me, "Oh, Mrs. Clear, I'm just not a writer," you know, or something like that. They've been told so many times for so many years. They were told that they couldn't or that they didn't have it. They were never shown how to do it. And it's compassion and empathy. That was actually my classroom strategy. Was I'm going to help you as the individual, and I would have like a little individualized plan, literally for every single kid. But you have to be intuitive to that. It really takes special people that are trained, and it sounds like you have that. You have a lot. So how many professors right now do you have?
So we had 5 in our first year. We had 5 full-time professors and about 20 adjuncts. So our local folks. So we try to pull people from industry. So when we're teaching Surge Tech, we're going to try to work with folks that work in Surge Tech at one of the local hospitals. When we're teaching welding, I want to get somebody who's out there on the line welding, so they understand they've got to learn the culture. But you're really spot on in that you hit it on the head. I always joke that people don't fail college for cognitive reasons. People don't fail because they're not smart enough. They fail because they don't believe in themselves. They give up too soon, or they think they don't have the tools. So every time I hire a new faculty, they sit in my office and they probably make fun of me out this behind my back, and I'm okay with that. We're going to teach like this. The students right in the middle, we got one hand in front of them showing what they can be and can do. We got one hand right behind them to catch them when they fall, or to smack them upside the head. And that's the art of teaching. Knowing which hand to apply, because in your academic journey you go everywhere. And I think when you talk about compassion and empathy, sometimes people look at me sideways when I'll share the truth of my story. I grew up in a trailer park. My first child was born, I had to go to welfare because I was a college student and my girlfriend at the time got pregnant. I didn't have means, and people look at me in this professional role and think, well, how could a college president be that way? Well, because I was you at one point, and a lot of people surrounded me and gave me that. So we really try to spend a lot of time breaking that down. One of the initiatives we do is a first-generation college student. So I put them directly with folks out here in the community. Many of your listeners out here are first generation. When a student can see that somebody they look as successful and think is not attainable has similar stories, that's just a powerful moment for them.
Oh, definitely. I think that there are so many, and not just 18-year-olds, but so many adults that didn't have that support system and never had anyone to believe in them and to show them how to change the course of their lives. And I feel like that's what's being done here. Have you been working with any local businesses yet? I know that that's something that's on your list. I mean, this is a workforce development. This is supposed to be responsive to the community.
Yep.
You know, if there's a community need, the community college has the ability to create a program within months, if you need to, in order to respond to what that need is. So how's that going?
So let's start. I'm going to get a little academic on you because I need to set the context. So we know the number one reason why students tell us they go to college is because they want a better job. That's national data, whether you're going to a four-year university or that. We also know 82% of every full-time student who enters college changes their major in the first year.
Oh, yes.
We also know 9 out of 10 jobs that will exist in 7 short years haven't been created yet. Our antiquated education system, what's the first thing we do when we say somebody's going to college? Oh, great, what are you going to major in?
Yep.
I'm guilty of it. I try not to. Instead, I want to say, how do you want to change the world? Do you like to help people? Do you like to work with systems? Do you like numbers? Are you hands-on? Do you want to solve complex problems? Do you want to engage people in battle? Because then we can teach those skills. Those are transferable. But you are spot on. I'm not beating around the bush. Look, I'm going to teach you general education. I'm going to teach you liberal arts because we need folks. For a well-informed electorate, if you go back to our Constitution, a well-informed electorate, we need folks who are capable of, especially in these times, right?
Definitely.
When our news channels have polarized the nation, when people can't sort through data, when good people are genuinely confused because they hear the spin from both sides.
And can't find the truth.
Yeah. I mean, but we need people who can sort through that and start to understand what are those common scientific principles that we agree upon. What is the canon of literature? What is the rich diversity? Why do we push for diverse ideas? So we're going to do that. But the reality is, I'm not going to kid students. I'm going to get you the fastest path I can into the workforce. So we started with those 5 faculty in 3 programs. Just a broad general education that will prepare them to go transfer on, which a lot of our enrollment will come from that. A lot of our students are going to come to us because from a cost perspective, since we're subsidized by the county and by the state, we are way cheaper than private or state universities.
Definitely.
So a lot of folks will choose us for that reason. So we've got that will happen. But then the other part of it is we had a networking degree and we have still an entrepreneurial business degree.
Wow.
But since then, that started with 3. We're now up to 14 degrees and certificates.
Oh my goodness.
So, and back to your question, do we work with local? You bet. Our Surg Tech degree, our Associate of Applied Science and Surgical Technology, was built in an absolute partnership with UPMC Hammett. So they came to us and said, hey, we can't get enough Surg Techs. Our surgery suites are sitting empty because there aren't enough staff. I have surgeons threatening to go to different systems because they can't do what they need to do. They were shipping in Surg Techs from Pittsburgh on weekends to make this. And so I worked with Boo Haggerty's a fantastic gentleman, has been nothing but a huge supporter for the college. Boo says, Chris, I need help. Can you get me Surg Techs? And I said, Boo, I'd love to, but we're so new. To do Surg Tech, I have to build an operating suite. I mean, I have to build an actual suite. So our student, I'm not putting somebody in a surgery room that's just learned theoretically.
Yeah, that's out of, just the book. They need the hands-on.
I need them in there. I need them dealing with those in crisis, in the moments decisions. We need to make this. We need to just suture that. We need to make a choice of which tool is right. We need to respond to the high-level stress, to the level of cleanliness that needs to happen. And I said, so I'd love to help you there, but we're just not there yet. Come back in 2 or 3 years, Boo. And Boo says, hey, wait, what if I get you the space? What if we can actually use our actual surgery suites? And I said, we're in. So we immediately started to partner. UPMC is a larger system. We partnered with their education. We're going to do the general education. It takes specialized accreditation, which is going to take a while to get. So we're actually going to partner with them down in Pittsburgh, use their curriculum until that we can obtain that. That's a great example. But not only that, we've done criminal justice. We know there's a desperate need for corrections officers. We're seeing shortages in lots of those areas. A lot of times what will happen is you don't always need a college degree for a lot of entry-level positions. But I'm going to tell you what, you want to go up to management, even in fast food, you know what they're looking for? A college degree.
They are, absolutely.
So we're trying to say, like even corrections, you can become a police officer at lots of the municipalities without any formal training. They'll put you through training. But we also know when you want to go up that rank or when you want to specialize, they're going to want some college. So we're saying, how do we introduce people to that field? So we've added criminology, we've added criminal justice. We've added, we know manufacturing is desperate for qualified folks right now.
Yes, oh, they are.
So we've added welding, we've added CNC, we've added what we call industrial maintenance, which is really, it propels millwrights in a way oversimplify a very complex field. These are the folks that keep the factories, the manufacturing centers running.
Yes.
They're the ones that walk in, because if a production line goes down, those are major dollars which result in jobs that aren't happening. We don't have time for down, so I need people that are well skilled in hydraulics, pneumatics, electronics, electrical, basic mechanical, repair. These are the millwrights really keep the thing running.
Yeah.
So we've got that. So we've got a number of manufacturing programs, and then you'll see as we continue to grow with our new addition of our West Campus, which is in Millcreek.
Oh yes, that was going to be the drum roll here.
Yep.
Did I hear expansion? You're not just at St. Ben's and doing classes in Corey or at the tech school.
Yeah.
Where are you going to be next?
We are going to be where our students need us. Period. We are not going to build a Taj Mahal campus.
Exactly.
We don't need to do that.
Because
we
don't
need to be where our students need us. And so I've made a promise to my board that no student should be more than 30 minutes from access to change their lives.
That's beautiful.
And so that 30 minutes looks much different. If you're on the Lower East Side and you're five, if you're any of the 5 of the 6 people who don't have access to a personal automobile, that's 30 minutes from the time you walk from your door to a bus stop, to a transfer, to our location. When you live in Albion, your 30 minutes is probably in a car because your whole life centers around that car. So we're trying to do that. And so we had a great opportunity to work with Villa Prep. Unfortunately, they've closed the school and they've consolidated, but it leaves this amazing campus. And so we've partnered with Villa Prep, and we're actually leasing what now we're not going to call EC3 our Erie West campus at 2403 West 8th Street.
Wow.
And we hope to get that up and running and have classes start in there by January for sure, maybe even sooner, because growth, we continue to get overwhelmed with applications, and as we need to add classes, we'll be able to add classes even sooner.
That is, you know, for my Millcreek residents, knowing that is going to be accessible, knowing that my students, past and present, I mean, I have 30-some-year-old students, you know, that I know can have access to this, and they are having family, or they do have families, and they just want to further their education. They want something more for their life.
Yeah.
I am beyond excited that you decided to be in Millcreek,
Yeah.
and I'll be honest with you, I was secretly really hoping that it was going to happen. So.
Well, I want to set the record straight. So I don't live in Millcreek. I live across the street from Millcreek. I want to set the record straight. When I bought my house, I was new to the area. I did not know that when fall hit and leaves were not on the tree, I'd be able to see where my office will be. I had no idea of that. In fact, everyone kept saying, hey, Villa Maria is merging. You should go take a look and see if that might be. And I actually, they were calling it Villa. And I'm looking at my Google for Villa, and I can't find a Villa. And so finally I say, well, somebody give me the address.
Yeah.
And I found out it's literally 2 blocks away from my house.
It is so close to you now. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
So.
we are honored to have you there, and I can't even explain to you the process that I know we're going to be going through, and I know we have to wrap up. I want everyone to know, how can they apply to, and how do they find all of the different majors, and where do they go? What do they need to do?
So the website has all that information, ec3pa.org, EC3 of Pennsylvania. .org.
EC3PA.org.
Yep.
Okay.
Once we get accredited, it'll be a .edu, but that's a 5 to 7 year federal process. That'll take some time. Or honestly, pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Give any of us a call. You're going to find every one of my staff. We've got about 45 staff. Every one of us, we're here to serve students.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone. Look, it is intimidating. The whole college process is intimidating. I remember I transferred after my community college. I transferred to Eastern Illinois University and have a giant castle. And I remember going there and thinking, I don't belong here.
Yeah.
I can't do this. Ignore that. Pick up the phone, talk to E, talk to Lamont, talk to me. I'm going to walk you through there. If you don't know, it's okay to say, I don't know what that is. I'll share one more tangential story. So when I went to community college, I had to pay, I don't know, $600 or something. And so I didn't know where to get the money. So I did what my family always did. I went to the local bank to try to get a loan. And back in that day, I had to say, here's why I'm worthwhile to loan.
That's right.
And the banker laughed at me and said, Chris, you don't do that. Go back to the financial aid office.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I didn't know what a financial aid office was. I know my students don't know how to college.
That's right.
We're there to help them for that.
And I want you to call me if you have a Millcreek resident that doesn't know or any resident. I'll go with them too, and I will help them.
That's awesome. And also know, because of the support of county government,
yes, that's right.
We have ARP funds.
Yes, you
do. If you are an Erie County resident, tuition is free, and I expect that those funds.
If you are an Erie County resident, tuition is free.
Yep,
Yes.
there are some small fees
Yep.
associated with that, but if you're in a bind
Yeah.
and can't afford those fees, we also have additional resources.
Yes.
Just work with us. And we think that's going to be throughout the year. So if you've ever thought about wanting to explore a college class, now is the time.
Thank you so much. Dr. Gray, this has been so informative, I think, for me, for our residents. And I know we are short on time. I could talk to you for another hour, by the way, but I want to thank you for coming here today. And I want to thank our viewers so much for taking part in this. And if you have any questions, please, ec3pa.org, or heck, call your Millcreek supervisor and I will help you get there. Dr. Gray, thank you so much for taking this time to be with us. And our residents are better for having you here.
Great, and thank you for your continued support for the community college, and we're glad to be in Millcreek.
Anything I can do, anything. Thank you so much. And spread the word, EC3PA. Have a great day.